we haven't had an American president since Abraham Lincoln that's had to do what President Zelensky's done. President Zelensky is fighting a war of national survival on his own soil, and that's what Abraham Lincoln did. And fight for on your own soil for national survival and national sovereignty. And you have to, when you see that, you have to appreciate the issues that they're facing right now on the ground. And I think sometimes we don't.
This is my video update on this Sunday afternoon, June the 15th, coming to you from Larnaca, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the conflict between Iran and Israel. I am not going to get into the details of the strikes that have been taking place over the past 24 hours. Iran is hitting Israel. Israel is hitting Iran. They're just trading blows at the moment. Iranian missiles are hitting oil depots. For example, they knocked out an oil depot in Haifa, and Israel is hitting oil depots in Iran, and they're both going after military facilities. And there are now a lot of casualties, civilian casualties that are mounting up from these strikes. And things are escalating in a very, very bad way. Iran yesterday, they did hit a research center. Let me pull it up here. They hit the Weizmann Institute of Science, located in the southeast of Tel Aviv. And the claims are that this was in retaliation for Israel going after the nuclear scientists of Iran. Hypersonic missiles. Iran's using hypersonic missiles as well. And the Iron Dome is simply unable to deal with the hypersonic missiles. There's no answer for the hypersonic missiles. But that's the situation of what's going on right now, at least militarily. There are a lot of channels and accounts that you can follow, especially on Telegram and on X, that will get into the details of what's happening and what's being hit. And they'll have videos and all of that stuff. So there's really no need for me to go over all of these things. Let's talk about the phone call between Putin and Trump. It looks like Putin called Trump this time around. He initiated the call. And the excuse was that it's Trump's birthday, or it was Trump's birthday, his 79th birthday. And Putin called him to wish him a happy birthday. And then they talked a little bit about Ukraine and mostly about Israel and Iran. And Trump, he posted on Truth Social. So this is the White House readout. The White House readout is now whatever Trump posts on Truth Social. And I'll get into what the Kremlin said about this call in a minute. Trump posted, President Putin called this morning to very nicely wish me a happy birthday. But to more importantly, talk about Iran, a country he knows very well. A country he knows very well. Important statement from Trump. We talked at length. Much less time was spent talking about Russia, Ukraine, but that will be for next week. He is doing the planned prisoner swaps. Large numbers of prisoners are being exchanged immediately from both sides. The call lasted approximately 1 hour. He feels as I do. This war in Israel, Iran should end, to which I explained his war should also end. That last sentence is also interesting, huh? He feels, as do I. He feels, as do I, this war in Israel and Iran should end. To which I explained, his war should also end. His war, the war that the U.S. provoked. You mean, Trump, the war that was Biden's, but is now yours? Is that what you're talking about? Anyway, that was the message from Trump. I have a feeling that Putin called Trump to give Trump an off ramp. Putin loves to give Trump off ramps. Trump never takes the off ramps, but Putin does give the off ramps to Trump. And I think that he called Trump, and he said that the way out of this is for the U.S. to tell Israel to negotiate with Russia. Russia can negotiate with Iran. Trump is not going to be able to talk to Iran. Russia can talk to Iran. Russia can talk to the United States. Russia can talk to Israel. The United States should tell Israel to back down. Russia can tell Iran, let's de-escalate, back down. The conflict ends up in a draw, let's say, and that's that. I believe that was the purpose of the call. Will Trump take this off-ramp? Probably not. Probably not. Most likely not. But it is the way out of this. And we got to get out of this early. We're 3 days into this conflict. And the more this goes on, the harder it's going to be to de-escalate. The harder it's going to be to end the war. The war can end now, and it can be called a draw. Each side can claim victory. Israel can claim victory. Iran can claim victory. But it can be over. And we could move away from what could be a very dangerous regional war and perhaps even a world war. Because the longer this continues, the more likely the U.S. will get involved, openly involved in the conflict. And I don't mean boots on the ground. I'm talking about U.S. fighter jets and U.S. missiles and U.S. ships launching those missiles, and then Iran's retaliation against the U.S. And if the U.S. does get involved, which would be very dangerous for Iran, then why should China or Russia not get involved on the side of Iran? Why would they let Iran fall? Especially China, when you think about it, because Iran is very important to China. I don't know how China and Russia can help Iran. I don't know if they have, well, they definitely don't have the ability that the U.S. has to project power. But China and Russia can provide Iran with intel, with weapons, missiles, these types of things. I imagine they can help Iran with. So it's better to end this now. It's better to end this now. Unfortunately, I don't think that's what's going to happen, because I don't think Trump's ego and the people around Trump will allow him to take this off ramp. This really puts into context the post from Lindsey Graham the other day, doesn't it? When he posted on X, I talked about this in my video update yesterday. It was my clown world, where he warned China and India. But in that message, the first part of that message was Lindsey Graham basically saying, no way are we going to allow Russia to mediate. I think the neocons and Lindsey Graham, who is the foreign policy president of the United States, foreign policy president Lindsey Graham, I think that they got wind of perhaps a possibility that Putin can mediate and bring this conflict to an end. And if there's anybody that can use diplomacy and bring this conflict to an end, it is Putin, it is Lavrov, it is Russia. They have the ability, they have the diplomacy to bring this conflict to an end, and they have influence and can talk to Iran, and they can talk to Israel, and they can talk to the United States. I think that Lindsey Graham sent that message yesterday, basically warning Trump, don't you dare allow Putin to mediate this to some sort of a settlement. Trump also posted, after he posted the readout on the phone call with Putin, he then posted on Truth Social, the U.S. had nothing to do with the attack on Iran tonight. If we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. armed forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. However, we can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end this bloody conflict. I worry about a false flag when I read statements like this. I worry about a false flag to draw the U.S. deep into this conflict. So the Russian statement on the phone call between Putin and Trump. This is from Yuri Ushakov, the Russian presidential aide. He called the conversation meaningful, frank, and most importantly, very useful. Putin condemned Israel's strikes on Friday, particularly noting that they occurred just before nuclear negotiations between Iran and the U.S. scheduled for June 15th, he said. Despite such a complicated situation, the Russian and American presidents didn't rule out a return to the negotiating track on the Iranian nuclear program, Putin's aide added. It's very clear that Putin told Trump, I can get you out of this mess. Because the way things are looking, Israel cannot defeat Iran. Actually, Israel pretty much admitted that on their own, or with the limited help, let's say with the help that they're getting right now from the United States, Israel cannot defeat Iran. I'm not saying Iran's going to win if this continues, but at the moment, neither side can deliver a knockout blow. And the more this conflict continues, it definitely tilts in Iran's favor, unless, of course, the United States gets fully involved. Then we're heading towards a big regional conflict and the world conflict. But Israel is admitting as much, that they can't deliver the quick knockout blow to Iran. And Axios actually reported that Israel urges the U.S. to join war with Iran to eliminate nuclear program. So it's basically an admission that they can't do it without the United States. From what I understand, the excuse that they're using now is that they want to hit an enrichment site. I forgot the name. Fordow, I believe. It's a fuel enrichment facility in Iran, and they need bunker busters. One sec. Let me see if I have the name. Yeah, Fordow Fuel Enrichment Plant, which needs U.S. bunker busters, and Israel is now using this as the bait to try and get the U.S. Openly involved, fully involved in this regime change operation, because they're realizing that they don't have what it takes to get the regime change done. Not with the current amount of help that they're getting from the United States. It's not enough. They need more. They need the U.S. They need the U.S. to fight Iran. That's what they need. So that's what they're basically trying to do. They're saying they need to hit this fuel enrichment plant, and they need U.S. bunker busters. So yeah, Putin is trying to tell Trump, we need to end this before things get really out of hand and before other countries get drawn in. So according to Axios, the Trump administration, when they were asked by Israel to get involved, at this time, the Trump administration said no, and they said they want to create some distance. But another administration official spoke to Axios and told them that the U.S. is not closing the door on getting involved in this conflict, really getting involved in this conflict. They're going to leave the door open. That really worries me about a false flag. This has all of the dynamics for some sort of an operation, a false flag, to take place in order to pull the U.S. fully into the conflict. So what else? There were rumors yesterday that Iran was considering, reports, they were considering closing the Strait of Hormuz. This was come actually from Reuters. They were reporting this. So Reuters reporting that a member, I believe a member in the Iranian parliament, told them that closing the Strait of Hormuz is a possibility, which would be catastrophic for the world. That would be catastrophic for the entire world economy. But I don't think we're there yet. I think that's going to be one of the last options for Iran. If the U.S. were to get really involved in this, like if the U.S. said, okay, we're jumping in, we're going to start flying our fighter jets and sending missiles into Iran, and we're going to push hard for a regime change, then I think the Strait of Hormuz would definitely be on the table. Ouch. Oh, that hurt that car. Man, that car just got hurt. Going down that curb. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So what else? The Chinese Foreign Ministry said that China supports Tehran in defending its legitimate rights and interests. I already talked about that, yeah. If the U.S. gets involved, then China could get involved and Russia could get involved. Iran is a member of BRICS. Pete Hegseth, he said yesterday, he was speaking to reporters, and Pete Hegseth said that the United States has diverted, I believe, I forgot the number, a lot. I forgot the number. I want to say 2,000, but I'm not sure. Anyway, he diverted a lot of air defense missiles from Ukraine to the Middle East, to Israel.
And one of the questions was asked is, hey, did you move some of your counter UAS, counter unmanned aerial systems defenses from Ukraine to the Middle East? To which I answered, yes, we did.
An amazing admission from Pete Hegseth, huh? What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Well, Will Shriver has some thoughts on this. He posted on X. Pentagon Chief Greasy Pete Hegseth confirms that the U.S. has moved American air defense assets from Ukraine to U.S. bases in the Persian Gulf. This strongly suggests two things: dwindling U.S. inventory of air defense, true, and U.S. forces were always in control of U.S. air defense in Ukraine. Doubly true. Very good point. Very, very good point there. It's not that sunny of a day, but people are still at the beach. It is a Sunday. So should we make a move to Project Ukraine? A little bit of Project Ukraine in connection with what's happening in the Middle East, because Churchill number 2, he is complaining. He is complaining that all of the attention, the media attention, the weapons deliveries, Podolyak, the money, it is all going to the Middle East. And he's actually starting to openly complain about this. What about us? Zelensky is saying. And honestly, the media is not covering Ukraine that much either. And we're not covering Ukraine that much either, to be fair. So Zelensky is realizing that he's in a big mess. He's saying that sanctions have to be placed on Russia, bone-crushing sanctions ASAP, because the oil price is surging. Just last week, Ursula and stunning and brave Kaya Kallas who are saying that that they are going to put a $45 price cap on Russian oil from 60, the $60 price cap, which worked so well, right? They're going to lower that to 45, and they were very proud of the fact that they are going to bring Putin's war machine to heel, right? I want to catch that ball, man. Oh my God. Ah, there we go. Got it. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to catch that ball. Anyway, yeah, now Zelensky is saying that this is bad because the oil price is surging, and we know what country starts making more and more money when the oil price surges. The Russian military, they continue to hammer Ukraine, and they hammer Ukraine's military facilities and drone manufacturing facilities. Just let me know, guys, if someone steals my bag. Let me know. All right. Yeah, they launched big strikes yesterday into Poltava and into an area close to Poltava, actually a city right on the Dnieper called Kremenchuk. And they really hammered it with Kalibr, Iskanders, and lots of drones. And there were big fires, big explosions. Russia hit something very big in Kremenchuk, and this is on the Dnieper. And when you look at a map, I was looking at a map this morning just to get a better idea where Kremenchuk is in Poltava. Man, Kremenchuk is right on the Dnieper, and it's in the Dnipro area. Poltava, Dnipro, Kremenchuk, it's all there. If Russia gets to the Dnieper at that point on the map, and they continue to move down from Sumy, I mean, it's over for Ukraine. It is absolutely over. The war's over. Zelensky has to leave and go into exile because I don't see how Ukraine can exist as a state, as a functioning nation. Anyway, what else? The Lithuanian president, he's also sounding the alarm bells about the price of oil. That's what concerns the European Union, huh? That's what concerns Zelensky, is the price of oil, and that Russia's going to make money off of what's happening in the Middle East. That's what concerns them. Russia on their brain, 24 hours a day, the Baltics and the Green Goblin. Ursula spoke to Trump after Trump spoke with Putin, and Ursula basically told Trump the same thing. Let's not forget about Russia and Ukraine. Don't forget about Russia and Ukraine. Trump's like, man, I'm already in a big mess with the Middle East, with Iran. I thought we were going to knock out Iran early, but we're not going to knock out Iran early. That's what Trump is saying. Similar to Russia, isn't it? What the neocons promise the Trump administration, and what they sell Trump on, and the people around Trump, and the American people. What they sell the American people when it comes to Russia, Ukraine. What did they sell everybody on? That Russia is a gas station masquerading as a country. Putin will be overthrown in a matter of months. 16,000 sanctions, and Putin's gone, and didn't work out like that. And they're selling the same thing when it comes to Iran. Iran is weak. Iran's going to be knocked out quickly. Israel will be able to knock out Iran. No worries. We'll just give Israel some support. We'll give them some missiles. We'll give them some intel. We'll give them whatever support they need. We'll say that we're not openly involved in this conflict. We're not involved in this conflict, so we stay at a distance and let Israel do the heavy lifting, and they'll knock out Iran early. They'll decapitate the leadership, and it'll be over. We'll then get the Juan Guaido in as the president of Iran, the Shah's son, who's the latest iteration of Juan Guaido. Juan Guaido's like Doctor Who. Right? It's like just keeps on regenerating, right? You get a new Juan Guaido every few months. Now it's the Shah's son. Anyway, what was I saying? Vandermath called Trump. She said, don't forget about Russia and Ukraine. Let's get a trade deal signed by July. And that was the phone call. And we are getting reports that Vandermath is also upset about everything that's happening in the Middle East. And she's upset because no one is consulting with the European Union. The United States is not consulting with the EU on the moves it's making in the Middle East. Why would the United States consult with the vassal? Why would they consult with the vassal? What is the vassal going to tell the United States? Ridiculous, man. Anyway, that's Vandermath. We have the G7, which has started. The G7 has started up. And the reports are from Politico that the 6 countries in the G7 are very upset with Trump. And Politico is saying that this event in Canada, hosted in Canada by Mr. Carney, is the G6 takes on Trump, right? The G7 becomes G6 plus Trump. If I was Trump, I would just pull out. I would just say, you know what? If you guys want to make it out as if it's U6 against me, against the United States, well then fine. I'm taking my ball. I'm going to take my ball and I'm out of here. Then we'll see what they do. The G6. They can then rebrand the G6 into the what? Into the L6. The L6, the losing 6. Maybe Ukraine can take the place of the United States. So it can still stay the G6 or maybe the G7. So Ukraine takes the place of the US. It remains the G7, or maybe you call it the GG7, the Green Goblin 7. Oh man. Air Austria. Air Austria, my bag is still there. Good. What else? There are photos of Keir Starmer with Carney in Canada. They're drinking a pint. Just everyday guys, just a bunch of regular chaps. Starmer, 008, and Carney hanging out, drinking a beer, talking politics. What else? Trump had the parade yesterday, marking his birthday and marking the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. A lot of people are making fun of the parade because it wasn't exactly like, say May 9th. It wasn't at that level. It wasn't even close. But look, it's the first parade. Give it another 80 years and it'll probably get to the level of May 9th. But it was all right. I mean, I'm not gonna bash on it. It was what it was. I just think the timing of it. Okay, I understand it's the 250th anniversary of the Army, and so that's what it was timed to commemorate. But I don't know. I don't think it was a good idea to have the parade. Maybe they should have postponed it for a couple of weeks, at least until, or hopefully, the conflict in the Middle East, at least the conflict in the Middle East gets solved, and the protests in the United States, what's the protest called? The Day of Kings? No, the No Kings March. You also had the No Kings March taking place, and that got violent. That got very violent as well. Los Angeles, Salt Lake City. But it probably would have been a better idea if you just postponed it for a couple of weeks. And if I was the Trump administration, I would advise Trump, man, just take Putin's freaking off ramp. Just let Putin mediate this thing. Completely pull out. Tell Israel, whatever Putin tells you, let's just do it, and let's sign the JCPOA with no time limit. Russia's there to guarantee things and just end this conflict. It's not going to happen. I'm dreaming, I know, but anyway. Probably should have delayed this parade a couple of weeks because it didn't look good as protests are going on. The No King's March is going on. You have the Trump foreign policy in absolute tatters. It didn't look good. And the parade was not so impressive, to be quite honest. Anyway, let's do some clown worlds and we can wrap up today's video. And the first clown world has to deal with Flag Day, a Flag Day post from the Department of Defense where they have 2 flags on this image, and the pro-Ukraine accounts on social media are very upset because they say that these 2 flags, the colors, red, white, and blue, are the Russian flags. And it does look like the Russian flag. But the colors of the U.S. flag are also red, white, and blue. But in this image, it does look like the Russian flag. And so the pro-Ukraine accounts, they're having an absolute spasm and hissy fit about this. That's the first clown world. And what else? And we had a post from the BBC, the always reliable, excellent news source known as the British Broadcasting Clown Show. They posted, was Iran months away from producing a nuclear bomb? This was posted on X, and one sec, I've only got two hands and I don't want to drop the phone. And there was a community note underneath this post which said, for context, Iran has been months away from producing a nuclear bomb since 1979, before even the Islamic Revolution, according to a collection of claims and accusations. So the BBC basically got community noted big time. Yeah, give me a break. The narrative that Iran is days away from a nuclear weapon. It's been like that since 1979. Remember Netanyahu's speech to the UN General Assembly where he had that Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, Acme picture of a bomb? Remember that speech? That was like 12 years ago or 15 years ago. And he was talking. And in that speech, Netanyahu said in that speech that Iran is weeks away from acquiring a nuclear weapon. In that speech from 12 or 15 years ago. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. A relaxed video on this Sunday. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like our new merch, which has various cities on it. Also has flags and the logo of the Duran. I don't know if you can see it, but nice shirts. Pick your city, grab a shirt. The link is in the description box down below. Like this video, share this video. I will see everybody tomorrow. Take care.